High school football. Look, that's gonna hurry up.
It's going to be a September.
Blow it up for us, okay?
To remember.
High motives. Gotta keep going.
We have lots of rivalry games to kick things off.
Come on, baby.
On this week 3 edition of the Blitz.
We're going to be the premier matchup 3 weeks in a row, man.
West Craven and New Bern had their annual grudge match in the colonial capital. The Bears playing their home opener. The Eagles trying to stay undefeated. Richlands tried to beat East Duplin for the first time in 17 years. The Panthers try to keep the good times rolling in Beulahville.
Hey, touchdown on 2, 1, 2. Touchdown.
And East Carteret and Croatan played in their Crystal Coast rivalry game.
Playing well.
The girly men trying to stay undefeated. BJ and the Mariners looking to get into the win column for the first time this year. Hey, you're going to need a bigger screen to see all of the cool highlights we have for you.
The Blitz starts now, man. Good.
Hey, thank you for watching The Blitz. We are in week 3. This is when we start to find out who are the contenders and who are the pretenders.
Plus, we have some really good rivalry games, including the one between West Craven and New Bern.
The Bears finally getting to play their first home game of the season, and they welcomed in their white helmet brethren, the Eagles. The Eagles 2-0. That's why it's our Mac Daddy's Blitz premiere matchup. And New Bern starting right away, trying to excite the home crowd. Terrence McCormick at quarterback this year, looking for Jusan Wiggins, and Juicy juices up the end zone for the quick early lead. But then DJ Davis comes right back, looking for the junior Jerry Lee, his first career touchdown on varsity, and that was 11-6 at the half, the second half, key play of the game. West Craven's going to try to do the screen pass. New Bern defends it. So the QB rolls out. The pass is tipped right into the arms of Ayden Smith, who returns it for the touchdown and the 18-6 lead. That was the turning point. The Eagles, who hung with him for a while, were stunned. Wyatt Jackson, all reliable, his second field goal of the game, then at 21-6 New Bern. And Antoine Scott, he's been trolling on Facebook all week long. With Eagles fans, he even had his custom-made t-shirt that he had on the sidelines. The Bears going to their bag of tricks. Ayden Smith, gonna throw it? No, gonna keep it? No, he's gonna throw it, looking for Jusan Wiggins, who is wide open for the 28-6 lead. And old Papa Bear and the chain gang, well, he was all smiles because Terrence McCormick, watch this, the pass to Ayden Smith. Woo! Would you like to see that one again? The senior, woo! One-hands it, but they were not done. Salt in the wound. Terrence Saxby wasn't happy. He wanted his guys to go for more points, and they did. McCormick to Kayshawn Taylor. There's your salt in the wound. Mike Twitchell wasn't happy. 35-6, New Bern gets the win.
The difference is we started practicing better. Then we understand that we're not invincible by any means, and that, a lot of people get up to play us, and, hopefully we'll just grow from it and build off of it.
So next up for West Craven, boy, it doesn't get any easier. Have-like, you can see Mike Twitchell wasn't happy. The Rams are off tonight. New Bern will host Knightdale next week.
You poke the bear, you find out. Well, battle of early season undefeateds. 2-0 Whiteville travel to Warsaw to take on 2-0 James Keenan. It's our Air Force coin flip game. A turnover on downs forced by the Tigers defense led to an Eli Avant punch-in touchdown. As head coach Tim Grady telling his guys to relax and just set the pace back on defense. So Whiteville trying to turn things around on offense. The sling, unloaded deep pass, but guess who's there? Tyquise Wilson on the interception. He's fired up, and so would be the JK faithful, absolutely loving it. Eli back for another score. It would be 14-0 at halftime. Whiteville would score 2 touchdowns of their own in the fourth quarter to force overtime. Richlands scored first, 21-20, going for 2, can't get it. And it's James Keenan with the win, the redemption after losing to the Wolfpack 41-7 last year. They get the OT win and fireworks in this one, 21-20.
Another battle of early season undefeated is Northside Jacksonville, 2-0 for the first time in 5 years. Hosted New Hanover, bringing out the big wood against the Wildcats, who were coming off an open week, but they didn't show much rust as they went right to Marquez Higgins. And old Higgy gets in for the touchdown and the early lead. Northside hadn't been down much this year. Well, they got down even bigger in this one. A little screen pass going to the fullback. And look out for that big guy going all the way is Conley Kane, or at least not all the way, but way down the field. And New Hanover would get the win, handing Northside its first loss of the year, 34-12.
And another rivalry game, White Oak and Southwest. Our Chris Miller stat of the day. These two teams started playing each other in 1977, with the Stallions leading the series 24-13.
But the Vikings have won the last two matchups. So what would happen at the Corral tonight? Both coming off hard-hitting losses in week 2. And the Corral, they'd be a little disappointed because Trey Maggio is going to come through with the touchdown for White Oak. And the Stallions going, man, we're having some issues scoring the football this year. Well, here they go on this one. They're going to get the touchdown themselves by Mr. Whitehead, but that would be it. Maggio again is going to come through. White Oak gets the win, 30-8, to keep Southwest Onslow winless on the season.
Now, Swansboro hit the road for the first time this season. The Pirates took their 0-2 record to Leland in the Wilmington area to take on undefeated North Brunswick. The Scorpions down the field. What a catch made and into the end zone for the touchdown. Let's see that number 3, Ty Witters. He made plays last week, and his quarterback on the sideline putting up the A. Let's go. But on the other side this time, it's over to the side and tackled down, as this was a close one.
No, it wasn't. Final score from Leland, it wasn't very good. 56-0. We want to get out of that in a hurry. Sorry, Swansboro. Undefeated Farmville Central hosted a depleted Pamlico County team that had 12 players kicked off last week for breaking school policy and rules. Well, here we go. Farmville, right off the bat, going deep, and they are finding Elijah Abel, who was able, and then quick hurry-up offense, they were able to get into the end zone for the quick lead. The Jaguars coming right back again. It is Elijah Abel, and he is able to run in for another score. Farmville Central made quick work of this one, 61-6 over the depleted Pamlico Hurricanes.
Now, undefeated Greene Central put its 2-0 record on the line at home against rival Beddingfield. The Bruins 0-2 to start the year as the Rams with the snap, roll out, and hitting the fingertips, but intercepted by Beddingfield, who doesn't just go for a little bit of a return, but Jamaris Howard goes all the way for a pick 6. Now, head coach Jay Wilson not liking that. He's telling his guys, look, we got to focus up here as Beddingfield back into pass, but this time getting the sack for the Rams. Greene Central feeling good on defense, and there's the band swaying left and right. Greene Central trying to make some movement here. The pass into the end zone, sliding and catch it for the scores. Greene Central gets the win, 38-21. They're 3-0 to start this year.
Rivals Ayden-Grifton and Kinston both 0-2 to start the year, so something had to give at Viking Stadium, and what a game we had as they were going up and down the field against each other. That is Nate Connor looking for Maddox Shelby, who's got it for the Ayden-Grifton touchdown. But Kinston tried to come right back. They've had some issues with their offense, but they were looking much better tonight as Tyler Jones, he is going to find Tyreek Copper. And Kinston gets the win, 30-26 to get off the schneid. The Chargers dropped to 0-3, but Terrence's son getting into the end zone tonight.
And we have plenty more highlights to show you, but first let's go to our fans in the stands. It's our Coastal Carolina community, and this was from the Richlands away team fans in the stands at East Duplin. Boy, that was a fun one. We got all those highlights coming up next right here on the Blitz.
Hey, thank you for watching The Blitz. We continue a fun night of rivalry games with Richlands and East Duplin going head-to-head.
It hasn't been much of a rivalry lately. The Panthers had beaten the Wildcats 14 straight times, but were banged up coming into this one. Home opener for East Duplin, trying to keep Richlands from starting a season 3-0 for the first time since 2003. But the Cats were up 12-0 in the third from their stifling defense of Marcus Brant Hoover being a menace in the backfield, clapping it up. And head coach Pat Bird was amped from start to finish in this game. Already up by 12 points, Caleb Simcoe slings a pass to Nathaniel Elbinger, and Richlands walking into the end zone up 19-0. Coach Bird soaking it in. Just one more defensive stop to go, and Tanner Brinson reads it perfectly right there off the sweep, and the Wildcats beat the Panthers for the first time since 2007, and every player saying this ain't the same Richlands team anymore on a special night for Coach Bird and Wildcat Nation.
It's about these young men behind me and the work that they've put in for the last 3.5 years. And they've had to put up with me pushing them and grinding them and never being happy. But here's the deal. This is what fun is. This is the work that they put in. Now, we keep this train going.
First shutout on East Duplin since 2015. Wildcats will host South Lenoir next week. East Duplin to host undefeated Croatan.
Speaking of which, undefeated Croatan back at home hosting 0-2 East Carteret in a Crystal Coast rivalry game. The Cougs looking for their 5th straight win over the Mariners. Good start. Coleman Davis looking for Chase Bird. That bird's free. Yeah, it's a free bird. See what I did there? The chain gang says your references are great. Whatever. Free bird again, this time on the other side. He's going to come up with the interception. Chase. They're going to chase him down. But Andrew Gurley saying, all right, let's see what we can do here. I got a pretty good quarterback in Coleman Davis. He is a dual threat. And Coleman is going to get the big first down on the drive. And that's going to set up the sophomore kicker, Cannon McBride, who's got a cannon of a leg. The sophomore who also plays soccer and basketball hits a 37-yarder. Just not East Carteret's night, even though they say, well, basketball season maybe will be number one. Not tonight. Shut out 33-0.
And something had to give between 0-1 South Lenoir and 0-2 Dixon. Blue Devils looking for their first win under new head coach Brandon Proctor. But unfortunately for Proctor's crew, it's Rustin Bauman up the gut and in for the score. The cheerleaders very much enjoying that. South Lenoir, though, it's been a struggle for the first 2 games for the Blue Devils and new head coach Brandon Proctor. But right up the gut off the kickoff return, going deep, making a few moves and finding his way into the end zone. Blue Devils not going to get shut out in this one, but in the end, it's Dixon coming through as a final score from Shondell Parker, and Dixon rolls 40-12 over the Blue Devils.
That single wing looking good. Another rivalry game. Northside of Beaufort County, fresh off its first loss of the year, traveled to Martin County, where they're still waiting for their Gator stickers for their helmets.
Still waiting that teal color. The Gators fresh off their first win of the year and the Hunter Jenks coaching era.
They played at the Swamp in Williamston, and right off the get-go, those Gators were willing to bite. Check it out on the opening kickoff. There he goes. And you know who that is. That's Mari Larry with the long run in for the touchdown. And just like that, Martin County was in the lead. And boy, they didn't waste any time after that for Hunter Jenks, who that's what they saw of Martin County, the back of them all night long, as Shepard hands off, this time to another Shepard. Ja and Jason. That's Josh Shepard who scores. They transferred back in to the Williamston area, and they get the win 52-0. Jenks getting his second win.
Let's go to some 8-man football. Jones Senior continuing their season. Travel to take on Beargrass. The Bears fresh off their first win on Monday after their game got postponed due to weather last week, trying to make it 2-0 for head coach Terry Perry. Little flip to the sideline here. Coach making sure he sees his guys are in level. Jones Senior here on the snap. Rolling out and thrown down. Beargrass gonna get the win here against Jones Senior, 38-0, a shutout.
Mattamuskeet High School, fresh off its first win since 2019. The Lakers broke their 14-game losing streak. Traveled to Bellhaven to take on Pungo Christian, and all those Raiders staying on the ground. And they would get Josiah Murray deep into territory. And then the Lakers, they don't have a lot of numbers, but boy, they were so happy with that first win. Well, they would watch Austin Gibbs from the Gibbs brothers. Hey, he's gonna keep it in his score. As Pungo Christian gets the 42-18 win. You don't know who the Gibbs brothers are.
No, but I didn't know you could sing though. Let's go out to Greenville. Man, I'm scarred from that singing voice. John Paul hosted Father Capodanno out of Fayetteville. This JP2 squad also had their game postponed last week, but off the kickoff return, number 7 doing it again, Gentry McGinn. He had himself a kickoff return touchdown 2 weeks ago. The fans were loving it. This time off the rollout in through the air, and the catch this time by Latavius Moore. He's down inside the 10 and up the gut in for the score. JT Williams, JP2 getting the big time win. Another shutout, 53-0.
Liberty Christian Academy in Richlands trying to win its first game in school history. Hosted 0-2 Marian Baptist out of Fayetteville, and would Sean Richmond and company get it? Boy, they were trying really hard. Dominic Pierce is going to, Dominic Pierre, I should say. Ho-ho, oui, the Frenchman. He would get it, but then it would be Berrien coming back, and they would get in for the score. But Sean Richmond says, not tonight. We are going to celebrate under our temporary lights. Our defense is going to come through. That was the big tackle by Kiwan Oliver, and they're in for the score. And the first win in school history. Ho-ho-ho! Dominic Pierre and company, 28-16. Congratulations to Sean Richmond and company. I know it's been a tough go getting that program started. West Carteret goes on the road, picks up their first win of the year in Fayetteville, beating the Golden Bulls, while Rocky Mount put it on Holmes tonight. They did not come up big. And Bertie over Hertford County, 28-21. Congratulations to Coach Pugh getting his first win at Bertie. More Blitz coming right up.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1. Home team win for the first time tonight. Then you would think, I said, hey coach, you mind sticking around till 11:20? He said, I'm gonna be in my bed at that time. And he said, the lights are gonna be out at the stadium at 10:30. And I said, okay.
It is time for our Blitz Battle Royale. South Central off to a 2-0 start for the second straight year under Chris Cherry.
And they hosted North Pitt. The Panthers won their opener and had last Friday night off.
Andrew McClung never takes a night off. He's in Winterville and the Greenville area to show us what happened in our Blitz Battle Royale. Andrew?
Yeah, it was a big game tonight between North Pitt and South Central. Both teams needing another win to keep their undefeated streak alive, and this game was good. We start this one in the third quarter. North Pitt up 8-0 in this one after a pick six, the only points we saw in the first half. But famous Wilson, he's going to connect with Ethan Wilson on this pop pass here in the third quarter. That's going to make it 14-0 after a missed two-point conversion. Later in the quarter, Falcons needing a response. 4th and goal. Cameron Whitley throws it to the end zone. Tipped. Goes right in the hands of Colby Tucker for the score. Right place, right time. Remember that name too, Colby Tucker. You'll want to know it. To the fourth quarter we go now. North Pitt punting to the Falcons. Michael Wilson on the return. He's going to do some magic with his feet. makes some people miss, and he is off to the races. A punt return touchdown, tie ball game now. North Pitt and South Central tied at 14. Here we go. Less than a minute to go in the game. Tied at 14. Falcons going for the win. Whitley's going to throw one deep, connecting with Bobby Williams for that big gain right there. And that's going to set up the Falcons for a 40-yard game-winning field goal. Colby Tucker, he's going to hit it. It is money. That gives the Falcons the comeback victory. South Central wins 17-14.
We wanted to get about 10 yards closer, and more than anything, we didn't want to leave any more time on the clock. But we did a good job executing, and he kicked the devil out of that thing.
It was crazy. I was nervous as crap. I'm not gonna lie. I just want to thank God for this opportunity, this moment, to let me just kick that ball down straight in the middle of the goalpost. It was just a sign of relief because last week I didn't really do too good at kicking. I was 1 for 4, and it was just a sign of relief. You know what I mean?
Now we're going to move down the road to J.H. Rose playing North Nash. North Nash undefeated. J.H. Rose still looking for their first victory. Running the ball nice here in the first quarter. Rampant's down 21-14. That is until Tevin Council finds a hole to get in the end zone. He goes in, celebrates with the fans, but Nash would respond in a big way. Barry and Strickland taking the handoff, and he says, I might as well take it 80 yards for a house call. North Nash remains undefeated, stealing one on the road from Rose, 42-36. And just down the road, D.H. Conley looking to make it 2 wins in a row after a nice win last week, facing Hunt out of Wilson this evening. Tied at 7, and the Vikings driving late in the second quarter. That is until Randy James says, we will stop that. Picking off the screen pass, can't quite get that pick 6. Conley responds though. 4th down for Hunt. The Vikings D-line attacks, getting the sack and fumble, forcing the turnover on downs. In the very next play, Samari Cable throws the swing pass to Elijah Taft. But Taft does the rest. A 64-yard house call. Vikings needed it too. They get the win, 27-20. Another good night of football, especially here in the Pitt County area. We'll continue to have all your highlights each week. Reporting live tonight here in Greenville, Andrew McClung, News 12.
Let's go football. Look, let's go hurry up.
It's going to be a September
Blow it up for us, okay?
to remember.
High motives. Gotta keep coming.
We have lots of rivalry games to kick things off. Come on, baby. On this week 3 edition of the Blitz.
We're going to be in the premier matchup 3 weeks in a row, man.
West Craven and New Bern had their annual grudge match in the colonial capital. The Bears playing their home opener. The Eagles trying to stay undefeated. Richlands tried to beat East Duplin for the first time in 17 years. The Panthers try to keep the good times rolling in Beulahville.
Hey, touchdown on 2, 1, 2. Touchdown.
And East Carteret and Croatan played in their Crystal Coast rivalry game.
Playing well.
The girly men trying to stay undefeated. BJ and the Mariners looking to get into the win column for the first time this year. Hey, you're going to need a bigger screen to see all of the cool highlights we have for you.
The Blitz starts now, man. Good.
Hey, welcome into the Blitz Extra. I am Brian North along with Luke Schwartz. We are here for the next 20 minutes, and then we'll have lots of great highlights you can find online as well. Let's get started with our Blitz Premier matchup as we had New Bern coming off that tough overtime loss, taking on West Craven, the Eagles 2-0, and it was our Mac Daddy's Blitz Premier matchup because, well, I know. So they're great rivals, great crowd on hand at Caruso Coach Stadium. New Bern started strong. Terrence McCormick now playing quarterback this year, looking for the juicy one, Jusan Wiggins. That made it 11-0 New Bern early on, but DJ Davis comes back, the junior quarterback, looking for his fellow junior, Jerry Lee, his first career touchdown, making us Papa happy. It was 11-6, New Bern led at the half. Here's your play of the game. West Craven trying to get the screen. It was not there, so the quarterback rolls out. It's tipped, and Ivion Smith, Johnny on the spot, and he wasn't done. Smith gets the return for a touchdown. West Craven stunned 18-6. Wyatt Jackson, the steady kicker for New Bern, his second field goal made it 21-6. Antoine Scott, who's been trolling West Craven fans all week on Facebook, at it again with his t-shirt on the sideline saying they're going to make a meal out of them, and boy, they did. Bag of tricks. Remember, Ivion Smith had the defensive touchdown? Well, how about a halfback option? Well, maybe not, maybe yes, maybe. Yep, he's going to find the juicy one all alone in the end zone. That made it 28-6 New Bern. Even Papa Bear, the old chain gang member, he was all confident his team would come through. Terrence McCormick. Did we mention Ivion Smith? Woo! Look at that. One more time. The one-handed full extension grab for Ivion. Terrence Saxby, who was not happy with his team most of the game or coming off that overtime loss to Northern Guilford, wanted to pour it on. McCormick to Kayshawn Taylor, a little salt in the wound that Mike Twitchell wasn't happy with. New Bern gets a 35-6 win.
The difference is we started practicing better. Then we understand that we're not invincible by any means, and that, a lot of people get up to play us, and, hopefully we'll just grow from it and build off of it.
Mike Twitchell, again, not happy. Next up, they've got Havelock. That won't make him happier either. The Rams were off tonight. New Bern, they're going to host Knightdale next week.
Let's go over to a battle of early season undefeateds. 2-0 Whiteville travel to Warsaw to take on James Keenan. It's our Air Force coin flip game. A turnover on downs forced by the Tigers defense led to an Eli Avant punch-in touchdown. As head coach for the Tigers, Tim Grady, telling his guys on the sideline, just relax, let's set up the pace and get back on defense. Whiteville under center, looking for anyone downfield. The pass unloaded, but there, Tyquise Wilson on the interception. He was moving and grooving, and so was the JK faithful. Absolutely loving it. Eli back for another score. Whiteville would score 2 touchdowns to tie to force overtime. Richlands, it would be James Keenan scoring first, 21-14. Whiteville on the 2-point conversion, getting the stop. And James Keenan gets redemption on the Wolfpack, winning 21-20 after a 41-7 loss last season.
How about them Tigers, 3-0. Another battle of early season undefeateds. Northside Jacksonville, 2-0 for the first time in 5 years. Well, they brought the wood tonight, and so did New Hanover. The Wildcats beat Rose in their opener, coming off an open week, and they wasted no time. They're the bigger school in this rivalry. Marquez Higgins, Higgy going to get in there for the touchdown for New Hanover. And Northside hadn't been down a lot this year, but they got down in this one. That's because of the screen pass. Jacob Monroe looking for his big old fullback. who's got it down deep in Northside territory. That's Conley Kane, and that would set up another new Hanover touchdown as they jumped out to the big lead, and they rolled 34-12, handing Northside their first loss of the year.
Now, another rivalry game, White Oak and Southwest. Our Chris Miller stat of the day. These two teams started playing each other in 1977, with the Stallions leading the series 24-13.
But recent history, the Vikings have won the last two matchups. Let's go to the Corral. A couple of hard-hitting losses for each team in week 2. Who would respond tonight? Well, it would be Trey Maggio and White Oak. He would get in for the early touchdown. The Stallions sideline. They've had trouble scoring some points this year. Shut out last week. Well, they were trying to get going here, and they would get the touchdown. That Mr. Whitehead. That would be Scrappy Whitehead. Tate getting in for the TD, but it was all White Oak after that as Trey Maggio. Give us a point, Trey, if you're happy that you scored a touchdown. 30-8, White Oak. Rebounds keeps Southwest Onslow winless.
Now, Swansboro hit the road for the first time this season. The Pirates took their 0-2 record to Leland in the Wilmington area to take on undefeated North Brunswick. The Scorpions using that stinger to sting the Pirates and sink their ship. Rodney Beasley's squad unable to come up with any points here as Ty Witters scores the touchdowns. They're shut out in this one. A big defeat, 56-0.
Undefeated Farmville Central at a depleted Pamlico County team that had 12 players kicked off last week for breaking school policy. While Farmville wasn't feeling bad for them, Elijah Abel is going to ably catch the pass and get down to the goal line. They went so quick, you had to not blink to catch that touchdown to put them on top. And then here they come again, Farmville Central. Elijah Abel one more time. He is able to get in the highlights again with the beautiful long touchdown run, and that was kind of the story of the game tonight. Farmville Central beating the depleted Hurricane 61-6.
56-point victory. Undefeated Greene Central put its 2-0 record on the line at home against rival Beddingfield. The Bruins 0-2 to start the year on the rollout. This one just tipped up and actually caught by Beddingfield. This one, number 5. Jamarius Howard not taking it just for an interception, but all the way in for the score. Jay Wilson saying, let's go, guys. Come on. We got to get fired up. We're 2-0 for a reason, as this time it's the defense coming through. Jalen Sutton with the sack, and the band was loving it. Swin left to right, and the Rams, Cameron Vanderford looking open here, and he's going to slide right in for the score and the win. 38-21 for the Rams. They're 3-0 to start the season.
Rivals Ayden-Grifton and Kinston both 0-2 to start the season. They're not used to being in that territory. Something had to give at Vikings Stadium. Ayden-Grifton, they've got Nate Connor in as the quarterback transfer from Jacksonville. He finds Maddox Shelby, who gets across the line. This one went back and forth, a tight game the whole time. But Kinston, well, they know what they have to do. That means Tyler Jones has got to find their stud receiver, Tyreek Copper, just like his daddy used to do. In ECU, Washington, and the NFL, he scores a touchdown. Kinston gets the win, 30-26.
Well, we've got plenty more highlights to show you, but first, it's our Coastal Carolina Community College fans in the stands. This one, Richlands at East Duplin. What a finish in Beulahville. We've got all those highlights and more coming up right here on the Blitz Extra.
Hey, thank you for watching the Blitz Extra. We continue a fun night of rivalry games with Richlands and East Duplin.
Well, it hasn't been much of a rivalry, though, lately. The Panthers had beaten the Wildcats 14 straight times, but were banged up coming into this one. Home opener for East Duplin trying to keep Richlands from starting a season 3-0 for the first time since 2003. But the Cats were up 12-0 in the third from their stifling defense and Marcus Hanover being a menace in the backfield. So head coach Pat Byrd, he was amped from start to finish in this game. Quarterback Caleb Simcoe feeling it on the pass to Nathaniel Elbinger, and Richlands is up 19-0 for the score. Coach Byrd on the sideline just soaking it in. One more defensive stop to go, and Tanner Brinson reading it off the sweep, and the Wildcats beat the Panthers for the first time since 2007, and every player saying this ain't the same Richlands team anymore on quite the special night.
It's about these young men behind me and the work that they've put in for the last 3.5 years. And they've had to put up with me pushing them and grinding them and never being happy. But here's the deal. This is what fun is. This is the work that they put in. Now, we keep this train going.
First shutout on East Duplin since 2015. Wildcats host South Lenoir next week. East Duplin to host Croatan.
Speaking of the Cougars, they were back at home hosting 0-2 East Carteret in a Crystal Coast rivalry game. The Cougs looking for their 5th straight win over the Mariners. Coleman Davis looking for Chase Bird. And he's a free bird in for the score. The Chain Gang, they loved rocking the free bird back in the day. Bird again on the interception as Croatan gets the shutout of East Carteret by the final 33-0.
And something had to give between 0-1 South Lenoir and 0-2 Dixon. Blue Devils looking for their first win under new head coach Brandon Proxer. But the Bulldogs, they weren't just barking, they were also biting here as Rustin Bowman up the gut and through. And this one, although South Lenoir did get a score, it would be the Bulldogs getting the win 40-12 over South Lenoir.
Another rivalry game, Northside, fresh off its first loss of the year, traveled to Martin County where they're still waiting for their new Gator decals.
The Gators fresh off their first win of the year in the Hunter Jenks coaching era.
Let's go to the Swamp in Williamston, where things started really well for Martin County, like opening kickoff really good. That would be Mari Larry. Curly and Mo weren't there either, but look at the move. That's going to get deep into Northside territory, and that's going to go all the way. That's as deep as you can get in Northside territory. The kickoff return for a touchdown. Hunter Jenks, he says, this is all Northside's going to see of us, the back of us all night long. As the Shepherd boys, Jason and Ja's going to score here. Martin County gets the win over Northside, 52-0.
Jones Sr. slowly still adapting to 8-man football travel to take on Beargrass. The Bears, though, they just got a fresh win on Monday, and not a week later getting another one here as Beargrass, Terry Perry doing their thing against the Trojans, and this one is all Beargrass here as they get the win 38-0 over Jones Sr.
Mattamuskeet High School, fresh up its first win since 2019. The Lakers broke their 14-game losing streak. They travel to Bellhaven to take on Pungo Christian. And Pungo looking for another win. They started a week earlier than everybody else. Zaya Murray, the nice gain, and that's going to set up Pungo as the Lakers. They don't have many players, but boy, they're still so stoked about that win last week. Austin Gibbs takes it in 42-18. It was Pungo over Mattamuskeet.
Let's head up to Greenville. John Paul hosted Father Capodanno out of Fayetteville. The JP2 Saints at home tonight facing them as JT Williams. He finds his guy, Latavius Moore, on the sideline, and then he's just going to punch it in himself. And this was an absolute takedown here as JP2 wins 53-0 in the shutout.
Let's take you to Liberty Christian Academy in Richlands, trying to win its first game in school history. Hosted 0-2 Berrien Baptist out of Fayetteville. It was going to be all heat in this one as Liberty Christian does it. They brought in the temporary lights. Their fans are so excited. It's been a long year plus for Sean starting that program, and they do get the win and make school history tonight. Congratulations to Sean Richmond and the Liberty Christian Heat with a 28-16 win. Let's check in with our Kellum Law Firm scoreboard. West Carteret gets its first win. They go on the road to beat E.E. Smith. Rocky Mount humbles the Aces, and Bertie gets its first win of the Ronald Pugh era with a 28-21 road win in a rivalry game with Hertford. More Blitz coming right up. Time for our Battle Royale. South Central off to a 2-0 start as Chris Cherry in his second year trying to get that program turned around.
And they hosted North Pitt. The Panthers won their opener and had last Friday night off.
What a game we had here. Famous Wilson looking for Ethan Wilson, both nephews of the head coach C.J. Wilson. And that had them up 14-0. It was 14-7 when South Central would come back with the kickoff return. A beautiful run by Michael Wilson. Not of the C.J. Wilson family tree, but Michael Wilson takes it, and we're all tied at 14 apiece. And South Central getting the ball back late in the game. A minute to go. The quarterback looking downfield. Check out the gorgeous catch by Bobby Williams, and that set up the game winner by Colby Tucker. South Central wins in dramatic fashion, 17-14.
Wow, what?
We wanted to get about 10 yards closer, and more than anything, we didn't want to leave any more time on the clock, but we did a good job executing, and he kicked the devil out of that thing.
It was crazy. I was nervous as crap. I'm not gonna lie. I just want to thank God for this opportunity, this moment, because let me just kick that ball down straight in the middle of the goalpost. It was just a sign of relief because last week I didn't really do too good at kicking. I was 1 for 4, and it was just a sign of relief. You know what I mean?
We know what you mean. Just up the road, J.H. Road has its home opener. The 0-2 Rampants hosted 2-0 Northern Nash.
J.H. Rose at home for the first time this season, laying host to the Northern Nash as they look up the ball nice in the first quarter. Rampants trailed 21-14 as Tevin Council finds a hole to get into the end zone, but not enough here as J.H. Rose falls in this one to Northern Nash. 42-36.
Let's check out D.H. Conley just down the road, the Hollywood Crossroads. Nate Connor and company trying to make it back-to-back wins as they hosted Hunt. And check out the quarterback. He's a big, tall guy, and had a little pick six there. But that would be his only issue on the game as they would come back. The Conley Crazies were happy. Conley wins a wild game, 27-20, using that defense to come up big. Bonus game, just into the newsroom. Wallace Rose Hill made a trip to Wilmington to take on 4A powerhouse Hoggard. Irving Brown was looking good. He had a touchdown, wasn't enough. Wallace Rose Hill lost 48-14 and now 1-2, but they played a tough schedule. More highlights coming up next week.